Howdy mates, good late morning. How is everyone's Friday going so far? And just think, it is Friday. Yes. Welcome to the Maquoketa Caves State Park, which is a little bit of a gem in the state of Iowa. We're not too far from the Mississippi River. Coming through here kind of reminds me of walking through different parts of Clifton Gulch back in Ohio. But I tell you what, there is a little bit of satisfaction of having to wear this type of gear again. It's a little bittersweet. Much as I don't always tolerate the particular cold, I do know that my time that is spent out here is worth it, just because this is allowing me to build more professional skill in the interpretive world of things. I feel like I kind of repeated myself. Anyway, I have mentioned it in a video probably about a week and a half ago. We're really at that point of fall now that the leaves are really coming down at this point. I probably won't be surprised that a leaf may even land on my head while I'm out here. You see, to keep the leaves on a tree, it requires more energy. And only a select few of tree species really hold on to their leaves throughout the winter. But it's really just a means of energy conservation in part of the deciduous tree. That's why they usually let the leaves go. Now, a common question that comes to mind is, does photosynthesis still really occur as it gets into winter? I mean, in a sense, yes, but it's at a much lower rate than how it would be throughout the summer or even the spring. So the idea behind that is, as you go through, roughly 7-8 months, that of growth and the process of photosynthesis, that should usually allow enough oxygen to be available during, say, the winter season. The trees always stay alive. It's just when it gets into winter, the trees become, in a sense, dormant. And so that's when we have to look to some of our other oxygen producers besides trees. And you may have guessed it, algae. You see, the fortunate thing is we're on a planet that is roughly the shape of a ellipse. We're more like an oval, because there's the misconception that the Earth is completely spherical. No, that is not the case. But you figure with how abundant algae and plankton is throughout our oceans, you gotta look to those too that are responsible for oxygen production. And that's how we get our supply. Now, you may have also heard of the idea to leave the leaves. Yes, you should. So, there's a multitude of reasons for that being the case. But really the main reason that you want to leave the leaves is you're essentially allowing new soil formation to occur. As decomposition happens by means of different microorganisms, such as nematodes, mites, beetles, you get the gist. They do the work of consuming the nutrients coming from these leaves, and as a result, they create organic matter. Hence, the essential part that makes up the topsoil, rich in nitrate and phosphate. But the soil can only hold a certain amount. If there's too much excess of that nutrient, that's when it leads to other issues, such as eutrophication. Now, that's a fancy term, but usually that leads to algal blooms. And that's something we want to avoid. But you have to think, for another, when you leave the leaves, you're also supporting wildlife. Besides microorganisms, you're also supporting worms, moths, beetles, different insects, which the couple that I just named are examples of insects. But they use these leaves as a means of a breeding ground and a shelter place for them to also stay protected as it gets into winter. So, if you ever want to support an ecosystem, leave the leaves. You see what I did there? Did a little Uncle Sam reference. Yeah, you gotta leave the leaves. That's right. So, anyway, have a great day, you guys. I'm sure I'm gonna do a couple more videos while I'm here. But yeah. All right. Take care.